So, how do you actually build something for one of the largest railway networks on the entire planet? We're talking about Indian Railways, of course, a truly massive operation. Today, we're going to break down that whole process, the contractor's journey, and really demystify how you win one of these huge bids.
And it all starts right here with this one document. This is the General Conditions of Contract, the GCC. Think of it as the master rule book for pretty much every major construction and supply job. If you want to work with Indian Railways, this document is your Bible.
Okay, let's put ourselves in that position. Imagine you're a contractor. You see a project you want, a new bridge maybe, or a station upgrade. You've got the skills, you've got the crew, but where on earth do you even start? Well, that's what we're here to do. Walk you through that journey step by step. So our journey begins, and the first stage is all about proving you're even qualified to be in the running. Before you can even think about placing a bid, you have to get yourself onto the railway's official approved list. And first, a quick bit of lingo. In all the official paperwork, you're not just a bidder, you're a tenderer. It's the formal term for anyone, a person, a firm, a company that submits a bid, which they call a tender. You'll see that word everywhere. So, how do you become an approved tenderer? Well, the GCC lays out all these initial hurdles. You have to formally apply for registration, obviously. Then you've got to provide detailed credentials, proof of your financial stability, and that you can actually handle the work. You also have to show certificates from similar jobs you've done before. Oh, and you even have to pay an annual fee. Basically, the railway vets you completely to make sure you're the real deal before you ever get a shot at a contract. Okay, so you've made it onto the approved list. Congratulations. Now it's time for the main event, the tender process itself. And this, believe me, is where the financial and legal stakes get really, really high. A huge part of this is something called the earnest money deposit, or EMD for short. Now, this is not just some small application fee. It's a serious financial deposit you have to submit along with your bid. It's their guarantee that you're actually committed to your offer. And this table here really shows you how much skin you have to have in the game. For projects up to 1 crore rupees, your deposit is 2% of the cost. For anything more than that, it's 2 lakh rupees plus an extra 0.5% on the amount over a crore. For a big project, that is a serious chunk of change to lock up, just to prove you're serious. So why such a huge deposit? Well, the reasoning is right here in the rules. The EMD is a guarantee that once you submit your bid, you won't back out or try to change the deal. It's designed to stop people from messing with the process, which saves a whole lot of public time and money. If you win and then you walk away, you lose that entire deposit. But beyond the money, there's one single document in your application that carries an unbelievable amount of legal weight. What do you think it is? What's the most critical piece of paper that could literally make or break your entire bid? It's a sworn affidavit. Yep, you are legally required to submit a notarized statement swearing an oath that every single document you've provided, from your experience certificates to your financial statements, is absolutely 100% true. And they do not mess around. Just listen to this quote from the affidavit itself. If any of your documents are found to be false or forged, it's not a slap on the wrist. It means your contract gets terminated immediately and you lose everything: your earnest money, your security deposit, and your performance guarantee. So the message here is crystal clear. This whole system is built on a foundation of trust, but it is backed up with some very serious legal and financial teas. For any contractor, the stakes are just incredibly high. Honesty isn't just the best policy, it's the only policy. So, you've put together your bid, you've paid your earnest money, and you've sworn that everything is true. Now comes the good part. What happens when you actually win? First, just a quick note. There are really 2 main ways the railway asks for bids. You've got open tenders, which are public, and pretty much anyone qualified can throw their hat in the ring. And then there are limited tenders, which are by invitation only, sent out to a select list of pre-approved companies. Now, once your tender is accepted, a stopwatch starts ticking, and man, it is fast. You have exactly 7 days to show up in person and sign the final contract. Then, from the moment you get the official order, you have just 15 days to actually start the work. If you miss either of those deadlines, you can lose your earnest money and even be banned from bidding again. There's no time to waste. So we've seen all these intense checks, the big financial commitments, the crazy fast deadlines. You have to wonder, why all this bureaucracy? Let's zoom out for a second and look at the big picture behind this entire system. To really get the scale of this, you just have to look at the distribution list on the original document. This isn't some memo for one small department. These rules are sent to the general managers of all Indian railways, to chief engineers, to the directors of all the major railway institutes. It is a system-wide command to make sure everyone is on the exact same page across the entire country.
And that right there is the whole point. This incredibly structured process exists for one main reason: accountability. When you're spending public money to build critical national infrastructure, the system has to be designed to ensure total fairness for every bidder, transparency at every single step, and, of course, the responsible use of those funds.
And all of this leaves us with one last big question to think about. On one hand, this level of bureaucracy is clearly a necessary safeguard for these massive, important public projects. But on the other hand, could it also be a huge barrier to entry? Does it make it almost impossible for new, smaller, maybe more innovative companies to even get a foot in the door? That's the central tension in a system this big, and it's definitely something to chew on.